Today, I have a guest, a renowned skin specialist in Nepal, Dr. Uma Kale. She has completed PhD in dermatology and she has visited more than 20 countries from America, Europe, and Asia in the process of her research. Nowadays, she is working as a consultant dermatologist, aesthetician, and laser expert in Medicity in Nepal. And she is working as a dermatologist in two more hospitals, Sumeru Hospital and Let Me In, Korean Skin Hospital. Today, we will be focusing our talk on our facial beauty. Please help me welcome Dr. Uma Kale. Hi, Dr. Uma. Welcome to our health talk.
Thank you.
How your days are going on nowadays?
Yeah, it's good because of COVID-19, because of this global pandemic. Everything is messed up, but yeah, it's okay.
Are you still going to work?
Yeah, we are going.
Is it a full-time work or nowadays?
Yeah, recently we started full time. Like for 2 weeks of lockdown, it was completely shut down. But then we started duty. Initially, we were doing part time, but now recently from this week we have started full time.
Today we'll be talking about especially our facial skin beauty.
Yeah, sure.
Can you tell us how can we bring natural glow on our face?
There are lots of things we have to do about natural glow. Like you mentioned, natural glow, it has to be natural, not artificial. So first is our lifestyle, definitely. What we eat, how we live, these things matter a lot, because our skin is the external organ and skin is a mirror which reflects inner you. So healthy skin is healthy you. So it's very important you maintain the healthy of your skin, because healthy skin is a beautiful skin. So for natural glow, we have to eat healthy, balanced diet, and we have to maintain a healthy lifestyle. That is very important.
What do you do to bring that glow on your face?
Like I've been always used to do yoga from my childhood, from my school days, and till date I'm glad I'm practicing the yoga. And then I follow the regular skincare routine. So in a while I'll tell what we should do for a regular skincare routine. That is very important. And then healthy balanced diet. And then also I'm used to take green tea. I don't usually consume milk tea and milk coffee. I better prefer green tea. And then whenever I take water, I take warm water rather than chilled or freeze water. I never use freeze water. I always use warm or hot water.
When you drink green tea, do you put sugar as well?
No.
What's the benefit of drinking green tea for our skin?
Yeah, very good question. Because green tea, especially for skin, it's very good, because green tea are rich in antioxidants, and antioxidants are very important for skin, because when our skin, as I mentioned, it is external organ and it is always exposed to environmental hazards, and most importantly ultraviolet rays, which causes damage to the skin. And sun damage is an oxidative process in which free radicals are generated. So green tea, which consumes lots of antioxidants, helps us fight those free radicals, and it prevents early aging. So it is very good for skin, healthy skin, glowing skin.
You talked about a daily routine. What kind of daily routines do we need to do to bring that glow on our face?
Yeah, exactly. This is very important, because everybody from very early age should follow the daily skincare routine, which we say. This doesn't have to be. There is no any special indication for this. Everybody should do it. So when we talk about daily skincare routine, three things are very important. One is cleansing, toning, and moisturizing. And then other than this, sunscreen is very important, which gives you protection against ultraviolet rays. So cleansing, for cleansing you have to use face wash, appropriate face wash, toner, and then moisturizer. These all are very important. And then choosing the product as per your skin type is equally important, because not everybody's skin is same. Different people have different skin, different color, tone, and then somebody's skin is dry, oily, sensitive, combination type. So choosing these products as per your skin type is very important. And other than this is sunscreen is always very important, because as I mentioned, UV rays are very damaging to our skin. And it's not only about sun, because sun is the natural source of UV rays. We also have man-made sources. So even if we are indoor, we need protection. So one should make habit of applying sunscreen round the year, indoor, outdoor.
And there are some products which are highly advertised, like Fair and Lovely. Even I know in my childhood days, people used to use these products without thinking twice, without consulting any doctor. Do you suggest before we use any kind of market products, we need to consult with medical doctor?
Yes, that would definitely be a very good thing to do, because not every product would be suitable for everybody. I wouldn't say some products are good or bad. It's matter of suitability. Maybe one product is suitable for one people, the same product wouldn't be suitable for the other person, because the skin type is different. And then when we talk about cosmetics, there are two types of cosmetics. One is commercial cosmetics and one is cosmetic based cosmetics. So when we dermatologists prescribe any product, it is not commercial cosmetic, it is medical based cosmetics. That means there are certain evidence and there is a studies done for that product, and there is a leaflet which mentions the ingredients. So we as a doctor, we know what amount of certain ingredients is required. So it is made according to that. And more importantly, there are studies, there are evidence supporting the benefit of those products. So when we see our client or patient, first we see their skin type, and we see if their skin have any other issues, like somebody may have acne, pigment issues, or any other kind of issues. So we have to address those at the same time, and then we prescribe product, and then that does good. And there is mouth to mouth advertisement. For example, like you were talking about Fair and Lovely. Yes, definitely. I have also heard of Fair and Lovely. It's very popular, people taking and using. And when you use Fair and Lovely, you see there is a glow. But then it's not long term, it's short term. So when you want long term glow, as you mentioned, natural, and at the same time, when you use it for the long time, because it's not something which you will use for a couple of days or weeks, you will use it for maybe your lifetime. So it has to be good in long run. So it's good you see a dermatologist, consult, know your skin type, and then if you have any issues regarding your skin, you can consult at the same time. And it's good to consult a dermatologist to know the suitable product for your skin.
You talked interesting thing about cosmetics. There are medical cosmetics and commercial cosmetics.
Yes.
And even in commercial cosmetics, I see two kinds of products. One is specially imported from China, which are available in cheap price on the street, and some are special branded one. So when people are using these commercial cosmetics, what kind of precaution we need to take care?
We have most of the clients coming to our clinic using those products. They are very happy few days or maybe few weeks, but later on there is side effects, because maybe the ingredients it contains is not good for long time. For example, some of these creams and contains steroid. So steroid is definitely good, it does good to your skin, but then if you continue using it, it will make your skin thin. So what happens is there are small blood vessels beneath your skin, those becomes apparent. So there are these kinds of lots of this is just simple example I gave to you, but then there are lots of examples because these kind of creams, these are kind of attraction gaining, because people will use it and they will feel good because it will give immediate glow, immediate radiance, like I mentioned. But then this will not be there for lifetime, or if you continue using it for long time, there will be side effects. So we have to choose product which we can use for long time, maybe for years, maybe for a lifelong, and it does not give you negative effect or unwanted effect. That kind of product is suitable. And like you mentioned, there are cheap products from China. Not all products from China are bad. We can't say that all the products from China are not good. It's not about China or any place, or it's not about cheap and expensive. I think even some cost-effective products are very good. What we look is, we see main composition. What are the composition? If any product we prescribe, we go for composition and amount. And then age also. It depends upon age and your skin type. So all these things should be taken care of when we choose any product.
I remember my childhood days. My sisters, they used to use Fair and Lovely. This was a popular cream during those days.
And then later on there was Fair and Handsome too.
Yeah, and then we, especially me, and I also used to steal that cream and use on my face and go somewhere. And in those days, my question is, are there special cream made for ladies and gents different, or if there is the same skin type, both gender can use the same cream?
Yeah, basically they can use same cream, but then there are slight difference. Not much difference, but yes, there are slight difference according to skin type. Basically skin type, not gender type. Basically skin type. Because in medical, our skin, according to the color, it is divided into 6 types, like white skin, brown skin and black skin. And then another classification is according to the oily or dryness skin. Somebody's skin is very oily, somebody's is dry, and somebody's is combinational skin. So it is basically due to type of skin rather than gender based.
What about washing our face? How often can we wash our face?
As I mentioned previously about general daily skincare routine, which includes cleansing, toning and moisturizing. So when we talk about cleansing, it should be twice a day. Morning as soon as we wake up, and then before and at the night before we go to bed. So cleansing twice daily is good enough. And other than this, and when we use cleansing face wash, it shouldn't be exfoliating scrub, it should be just gentle cleanser. Because if we use scrub or exfoliation daily, it will irritate our skin. So when we go for exfoliation once a month is good enough. But if somebody's have too oily skin, can go twice a month. Otherwise exfoliation once a month is good. And for daily cleansing, we just have to choose gentle cleanser, soft, gentle, twice a day. And you should not do one thing, is never sleep with makeup on your face. This is very important. Always make habit of cleaning your face before you go to bed. This is very, very important.
While cleaning our face, cold water is good or hot water?
No, normal temperature water. We don't advise cold or hot, just room temperature, normal temperature. What we say is room temperature water is good enough. And if you are in a place where it's very cold, freezing cold, you can go for lukewarm water, is okay, but it shouldn't be too hot. Lukewarm water is good enough.
I want to share you one my experience, and many people face that experience. Mostly we feel itching, especially in the corner of nose and on forehead frequently. What's the reason?
Most common reason is dryness for itching. Dryness is the very common cause of itching. See, most of the people do clean their face, even if they are not using face wash, they use just water to clean their face. So when we clean our face, the sebum or the moisture is washed out. And after cleaning your face, if you don't apply moisturizer immediately, your skin is left dry, and dry skin is always itchy. So the itchiness you are talking about is because of dryness. So one should always make habit of applying moisturizer immediately after face wash. And this is very important. Whenever you take shower or whenever you wash your face, you should immediately moisturize your skin, because after we wash our face or after we take shower, our skin is soft and there are small pores in our skin which is not visible by the naked eyes. So after shower or after cleaning, the pores are open up. So when you apply moisturizer at that time, the skin will absorb the cream or product, moisturizer, whatever you are using, and you will get full benefit of the product. But when you apply the product on dry skin, the skin will not absorb it. So the product will remain just superficially on the skin, and you can't take benefit of that skin. So it is very important, immediately after shower or immediately after face wash, you should moisturize your skin.
After itching, we feel relaxed. Is it good to itch for immediate relief?
No, I wouldn't say that, because there is a cycle, itch and scratch cycle. When you feel itch, you scratch your skin, so that will give you transient relief. But the more you scratch your skin, the more you feel itch. When you scratch your skin, you will feel relieved, but that will not give you permanent relief. Again you will feel itch, again you will scratch. So what happens, your skin is dry, you are scratching your skin. Your dry skin is always sensitive, so you are damaging your skin. So rather than scratching your skin, you should apply moisturizer cream that will prevent itching, and that will hydrate your skin and prevent damage. This is very important.
I have another question, especially related with men's skin. And there are some people who every day they shave their beard and rub frequently by blade. What is good for our skin? Shaving every day, frequently rubbing too much by those blades?
No, shaving is it's up to you. I don't think shaving will have much effect on skin, because it's shaving you are doing to remove the hair, so you can go for daily shaving, doesn't hamper your skin. But then yes, you have to apply after shaving cream and all. So, and you have to do proper cleansing, apply moisturizer, apply sunscreen, and then shaving cream, yes, of course. So that is good enough. There is one condition in dermatology, folliculitis. Folliculitis is a infection of hair follicle. In those particular patients who have folliculitis, in those we discourage them to do shaving, and especially using blade, because what happens is it is contagious. You have infection in one hair follicle, and when you use razor or blade, the same blade will go to another hair follicle, and then it spreads the infection. In that particular condition, we discourage shaving, and we tell to use electric epileptor. Otherwise, if you don't have this problem, you can go for shaving. That is not a problem.
The skin on our body, and if we compare the skin on our face, facial skin is a little bit darker than other rest of the body. What is the reason?
See, actually, this is not natural. When a baby is born, you can see the even tone of skin on face and body. But as we grow older, as we age, then there is a difference. So you see why this difference is there? Because when we wear clothes, our body is covered with clothes. As I mentioned, skin is the external organ. It is exposed to environmental hazards and to ultraviolet rays. But face is something which we never cover. It is always open. No matter you are applying sunscreen, you are taking good care of your skin, but then it is always exposed. So that is the reason why your skin on face gets darker, because it is always exposed. You never cover your face, and other parts of the skin is covered with clothes, and it is protected. So that is the main reason. You might have noticed, for somebody who is regular swimmer or who is bike rider, the area there is a boundary line between, like, the part where there was swimming costume or clothes and then the exposed area. So see, it's sunburn, we can say, or suntan. That is the reason. Skin throughout the body is not same. One thing is that skin is exposed, and other thing is facial skin is sensitive. It is thinner, and the thinnest skin in the whole body is around the eyes. So periorbital skin is further thin and sensitive. So this needs to be taken special care.
For our skin, which condition is good? You told about two conditions, like one is exposed, one, especially our face is exposed most of the time, and our body skin is covered one. It is good to cover our skin or expose for our skin health?
No, of course it is good to cover, but then say you can't cover your face and work. But of course, when we are outdoorsy, we cover our eyes. We use sunglasses because most of us, we know that ultraviolet rays does not only harm skin, it also harm eyes. So we are covering our, wearing sunglasses is not just a fashion. It is, there is a purpose why we are wearing. Fashion is there, but then there is a purpose. We want to protect our eyes from UV rays. So in a kind, we are covering our eyes. And then you see in a place where we have pollution, where there is lots of dust, we again use face masks to cover. That is again, you see, we are covering. And then people use that wide brim hat to cover forehead or whatever it is. So we are taking kind of preventive measures to cover our face or a part of face, but then we can't cover our whole face, because there are sense organs. We have to smell, we have to see, we have to feel. That is the thing.
I have seen some people, they have dark eyelids.
Yeah, we say periorbital hypermelanosis. So you are talking about dark circles in literally we say dark circles, like some people skin around the eyes is darker comparing to other parts of the face. Yeah, as I mentioned, the skin around the eyes is very thin again. So see, this periorbital hypermelanosis is a very common problem, and frankly speaking, medical science does not consider it a disease, or there is no any hard and fast etiology or reason behind this. There are some reasons. We say that if you don't take good sleep, if you are stressful, then there is darkness. But then some people, irrespective of these conditions, they have darkness around their eyes. So only we say is you just maintain a healthy diet, you take enough sleep, and don't stress yourself is good. But still somebody naturally have dark skin, and these things are sometimes, these are natural genetics, because genetics is play a very key role. Somebody genetically have darker skin around the eyes.
We have wrinkles on our forehead in early age than other places. How does it happen, and how can we protect from these kind of wrinkles?
See, when we age, there are certain signs of aging. As you mentioned, wrinkle, you came up with a very interesting topic, wrinkle, because this is the thing which is gaining lots of attraction these days, anti-aging treatment. And the first thing is anti-wrinkle treatment when we talk about anti-aging treatment. So as you mentioned, forehead, yes, it is correct that you see the wrinkles on forehead before you see wrinkles on other part of the face. But before forehead, there are very fine lines and wrinkles around the eyes. As I mentioned, the skin is thin and there is a crow feet, like there are certain fine lines at the side of the eyes which becomes apparent at early age, or it becomes apparent before any other wrinkles would become. And then the second is forehead. So this is a part of natural aging, when your skin ages. So what are the things which is obvious on your skin? These are signs of aging. So first, fine lines and wrinkles around the eyes becomes apparent, and then on forehead, and then this nasolabial fold, these things come. So, see, this process of aging starts basically at 20. When you are 20, our skin starts aging. Although the signs of aging is not obvious at 20s, it becomes most of the time it becomes obvious at 30s. But our skin start to age at age 20. What happens is there is a collagen in the deep layer of our skin. So after age 25, this collagen starts decreasing. So when collagen starts decreasing, our muscle contracts and there is no support. So wrinkle is because of basically contraction of muscles. So initially these are dynamic wrinkles. Dynamic wrinkles means when you give expression, when you laugh, when you sad, or when you show any kind of expression, these wrinkles are apparent. But then as you age at 30s and 40s, this becomes static wrinkles, means even if when you are static, these wrinkles are there. So initially there are dynamic wrinkles, then there are static wrinkles, and this is a part of aging, signs of aging which comes. And for this we have lots of treatment, and the most popular which we practice on daily basis is Botox for these wrinkles. And as you mentioned, this is treatment, but as you asked about the prevention, again we focus on sunscreen, because UV rays is the very common cause of early aging. It causes early aging, so we always focus on sunscreen, and one should make habit of applying sunscreen from the very early age.
You talk about Botox. Does this treatment work for our permanent solution?
No. It has to be done repeatedly. Once, actually, this is medicine which is injected in the muscles to relax the muscles. As I mentioned, wrinkles is because of muscle contraction. So we are injecting muscle relaxant to relax the muscle so that the wrinkles are gone and the skin is tight. So once this medicine is injected, it stays there for about 4 to 6 months. So after 4 to 6 months, the effect of medicine is gone and their skin is back to the pre-injected state. So you have to repeat it every 4 to 6 months.
Sometimes we get wound on our face and the scar of that wound remains for long. How can we eliminate that scar and be beautiful again?
Yeah, very nice question. We have been dealing with scars, every time, and most common cause of scars, is acne, pimples. Like wound is something which somebody would have because of some reason, but acne, most of the teenage people especially, they suffer acne, and acne is a very common cause which leaves the scar behind. Once acne is gone, but then it will leave scar and it becomes a lifelong problem. For scars, I wouldn't say that there is a very good or 100% curable treatment, but yes, we do have lots of treatment which makes your scar less visible, because once you have scar on your face, it cannot be eradicated completely. But yes, there are laser treatment and lots of other procedures which helps in reduction. About 60 to 70% of reduction can be done for scar. But then scar also, there are several types of scar, so depending upon what kind of scar it is, we have different procedure. And these days basically laser treatment, which is fractional CO2 laser treatment, we do this kind of laser treatment to make scar less visible. So we say making scar less visible, we can't eradicate it completely. That's why in case of scar, prevention is again better than cure. So we have to avoid trauma or wound or any kind of thing, and most importantly, pimples. So when anybody starts getting pimples, he or she should see a dermatologist and take a treatment to stop pimples.
Can you tell about food we need to change to make our skin good? Actually, we all people have same kind of food in our daily routine, but some extra things we can do.
Yeah, definitely. See, there is no any special food which I would mention, but yes, taking overall healthy balanced diet is good for overall healthy body and healthy skin. So when we talk about a balanced diet, we have to take balanced diet and then plenty of fluid. And for skin, in respect to skin, if we are talking, vitamin A, vitamin E and vitamin C are very important. And antioxidant, like I mentioned, green tea, and then other things like green leafy vegetables, fruits, nuts, berries. These things are very good, especially for skin. And plenty of water, it always helps, because when you drink water, you urinate, and it helps to remove toxin out of your body. So that again plays a very key role.
Can you share how can we protect our skin from sunlight?
Yeah, we were talking about the things which we use to cover our face, because our body, we are wearing clothes, so it's better to wear full sleeve clothes. And these days you see people are very much aware, and they have become like, there is awareness, we have to protect our skin. So wearing sunscreen, like I mentioned, wearing sunscreen is very important. And I think most of the people have started wearing sunscreen, but still maybe the duration and amount they wear is not appropriate, so maybe they are not taking full benefit of it. So let me tell you, once we apply sunscreen, it only works for 3 to 4 hours. So it's recommended to repeat sunscreen after 3 to 4 hours. one thing. And second thing, like I mentioned, sunscreen is one thing, but then if you are outdoor, you have to cover your face or any body exposed area as far as possible to prevent UV rays. But wearing sunscreen indoor is also recommended. Like I mentioned, there are indoor sources of UV rays. Like right now I'm sitting in front of screen, UV rays is being emitted from this screen as well, mobile, TV screen, computer screen, and then there are certain lights which emits UV rays. So it's not only about when we are going out, even if we are indoor, there are UV rays. So even if we are indoor, we have to wear sunscreen. Sunscreen is very important. And then even if it's cloudy day, because people think today's cloudy day, it's no bright sunny day, so maybe we don't have to apply sunscreen. This is wrong again, because these rays can penetrate through clouds. 80% of these rays can penetrate through clouds. So even if it's cloudy day, we are not protected. We have to wear sunscreen.
So you want us to use sunscreen every time?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Uma, for giving us lots of ideas, suggestions, and sharing your own experience as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.